Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. For today's video I'll be doing a review of the very long awaited debut studio album That's Showbiz Baby from Jade, who of course rose to fame as part of Little Mix. And let me tell you, when I say this album was long awaited, I really mean it. We had people doing YouTube videos debating on whether this album was actually ever going to come out, but it's finally here and I'm going to review it for you guys today. We heard half of this album before it ended up coming out, which is really interesting. Usually with an album release, you hear a few singles to kind of give you a bit of a taste of the album. But for Jade, we heard 7 tracks. I'm not saying this is a bad thing because I loved those 7 tracks, but I'm just saying it's an interesting way to do it. We heard, of course, Angel of My Dreams, It Girl, Midnight Cowboy, Fantasy, FUFN, Plastic Box and Unconditional. And then on top of that, we also got a collab with Confidence Man called Gossip, which is just such a fun song, by the way, but it doesn't feature on this album. And we also got another collab, this time with Le Seraphim, and that was entitled Hot, and that also isn't on the album. What I love about this album is that we see Jade going through different emotions. On some songs, she sounds confident, others she's vulnerable, some songs she's in love, others she's rebelling, other songs she's angry. Like, we get a lot of emotion in this album, and I think that goes well with the name of the album, but also it goes well with just the ups and downs of life in general, so it's kind of very relatable. I also really like how this whole album doesn't focus specifically on the music industry, because as much as I love the songs about the music industry and her experience with it, and I think that it's great that she's sharing that, I do think that having a full album just purely on that could have perhaps gotten a little bit repetitive. So I'm really glad that Jade went with having those couple of tracks that are clearly about the music industry, and then she sort of moved on, she branched out onto other topics, because that stops the album from feeling repetitive. Something else I want to bring up is that there's quite a few love songs on this album. However, they're all written from a different perspective, a different point of view, which is brilliant as it just adds depth to the album. A lot of this album does have a lot of 80s inspired elements, I noticed. And also it has like a really interesting floaty kind of vibe throughout the whole thing as well. I can't quite explain it, but yeah, the whole album sounds airy and kind of floaty. I hope that's making sense because I'm struggling to explain what I mean here with this. Jade's vocals are absolutely on point as well. Her versatility is just absolutely amazing. Her voice gives me goosebumps, and I'm absolutely so excited to see her live on her upcoming tour to support this album. The album's also very theatrical as well, which is of course very on point for Jade. She's very theatrical in her performances, her music videos, and we've heard it through the singles that we heard from this album as well, so that's very much on brand for her. So we're going to start off now. The first track from the album is Angel of My Dreams. This was of course the first solo track released by Jade, and this is the song that grabbed everyone's attention straight away. This song has a dreamy, angelic, floaty kind of vibe mixed with like a dance pop catchy beat. The moment I heard this song, I just absolutely loved it. It actually gives me goosebumps, this song. Jade is obviously being very, very honest about her love-hate relationship with the music industry and how she's been treated over the years. And yeah, I just love it. It's a good, strong start to the album. And then we move on to It Girl. Jade is fiery on this track. She's angry. She's fed up with being mistreated by the music industry. She's grown smarter because she's been mistreated. And this song is about that. You can also interpret this song in other ways too, which is nice. It's not just about the music industry. It can also be applied to different areas of your life, you know, because obviously us normal people, us non-celebrities, we can't relate to this, but she's made it relatable still. It's catchy, the beat's fun, the lyrics are feisty, but they're very, very fun, and she's just so sassy in this song and I love it. Next up is FUFN. She's upset in this song, but she's still coming off really confident, and that's what I love about this song. She's angry and upset, and therefore, really, she should be vulnerable, and the song should be vulnerable to reflect that, but she's not at all. She's sassy, she's confident. Plus, the song has a really catchy vibe and serves as a really good transition song between It Girl and the next song, which is Plastic Box, because it has like that little hint of like the 80s vibe that Plastic Box, Midnight Cowboy and Fantasy all have. But obviously the previous songs didn't have that vibe. So yeah, it's a really good transition song to sort of slowly and gradually introduce the 80s vibes to the album. Next up is Plastic Box, like I previously mentioned. This song actually makes me a bit emotional. It makes me cry sometimes. I'm not even going to hide that. It's a beautiful song. What it's good at doing is that it doesn't actually sound sad. It's only when you actually take the time to listen to the lyrics where you realise, oh, this is kind of actually quite a sad song. But it's also a really lovely song, and Jade's really vulnerable here and opening up. And then we move on to Midnight Cowboy. Now this is just a cheeky little song, and it makes a nice contrast to the previous track, Plastic Box, where obviously Jade is quite vulnerable. Here, she's not vulnerable at all. I love the added speaking verses as well. I just love the fact that there's this little cheeky song on the album, sex basically, trying to please your partner, and it's really nice to hear that coming from a woman as well, because of course we know that when men talk about sex, people react in a different way compared to when women talk about sex. So yeah, I really like this cheeky little song. And then we move on to Fantasy. We're going full on 80s vibes with Fantasy. The song does sound retro, but in a good way, because I love the 80s sound. It's such a catchy song. The music video is great for this as well. I really enjoyed the Carrie sort of moment at the end. But yeah, very, very good. And what I like is that it sounds retro, but it doesn't sound outdated. Moving on now to Unconditional. Now, this was the surprise track that she released a couple of days before her album came out. It's another bop, very catchy. At this point in the album, we're starting to sort of depart a little bit from the heavy 80s inspired tracks that we've previously had on the album, but also this still does have 80s vibes. So this is a good transition track again. The next track, which is Self-Saboteur, also is a good transition track for this exact same reason. It has those 80s elements, but it's starting to sort of depart from that sound a little bit and move into the next sort of sound. Self-Saboteur, like I said, another good transition track, got the 80s elements going on in there, but we're definitely leaving that sound. You can hear the album gradually just changing in its sound a little bit. In this track, Jade is being a little bit vulnerable with us again, talking about the ability that she has to sabotage herself, and that's something that we can all relate to. Sometimes we get scared of love, we run away from it, or we end up hurting the people that we love. Next track is Lip Service, total departure now from the 80s vibe that's dominated a good chunk of the album so far. It's a light-hearted song about love and finding somebody attractive and wanting them. This song does end a little bit abruptly though. I wasn't expecting the song to end when it did. I was expecting it to go on just a little bit longer. But to be fair, I do think that if the song went on a little bit longer, I think it maybe would have then been too long. So I think it actually ended at just the right time. It was just a bit of an unexpected end. Moving on to Headache, it's got such a funky bass line. Like, it's just groovy. Another love song. It's basically about her partner loving her even though she drives him mad. And we've all been there, haven't we? It's a very relatable song. I love the last minute of this song as well, because it really perks up and it fully just lets itself go, if that makes any sense. The next track is Natural at Disaster. The song starts off slow, but don't let it fool you, because about 55 seconds in, it changes up the sound and really picks up the pace. And this is what I like about this album. Some songs have sad or vulnerable lyrics, but no song really sonically sounds sad. And if they do sound sad, then it doesn't last for very long. It's sad, but it keeps the fast pace going. But anyway, this song is about loving someone who is a narcissist and who doesn't quite treat you right. And deep down, you know it's not right, but you kind of put up with it because you love that person. Moving on now to Glitch, another good track. Jade is very confident here. It's a catchy song, especially with those repetitive vocals that she's got going on. This song is about wanting to leave a controlling relationship that you're just not happy in. It's definitely one of my favourite tracks on the album. Before You Break My Heart is next on the track list. This is another one of my favourites, actually. It samples the Supremes' Stop in the Name of Love, and I think this is a really good use of the sample. I think Jade and the Supremes sort of just blend together really nicely and seamlessly. Sometimes with songs that rely so heavily on a sample, it can kind of get a bit annoying sometimes, but this sounds fresh and uses the sample in a good way. It's interesting to me because although the Supreme song is actually from the 60s, it doesn't feel like a 60s song because Jade has put effort into changing the track. And then the last song on the album is, of course, Silent Disco. This is a really nice way to end the album. It's a happy song to finish off on. Jade's vocals are absolutely stunning for this song. Her voice just sounds so light and airy and floaty, and it's just kind of a beautiful little song about making love, basically. It kind of brings back the 80s vibes a little bit to finish off the album, which did surprise me because I wasn't expecting to hear any more 80s vibes on this album. I thought that we kind of left it behind a little bit. However, again, that's not a bad thing because I just love the 80s vibes. But yeah, my favourite tracks on the album, it's hard to pick favourites because I'm actually really enjoying the whole album, but I did manage to pick out 5 favourites. Those are Glitch, Before You Break My Heart, FUFN, Angel of My Dreams, and Natural At Disaster. So there you have it. That's my first impressions of the new Jade album. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share your thoughts on it in the comments section down below. Did you like it? Did you not? Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up. And if you're new here, click on that subscribe button. And I hope to see you at the next video. Bye, everyone.